Welcome to Learner's Planet. Children, this is session 2 about air, water and weather. So children, in the previous session we studied about the sun's role, then we studied about air and we also studied about weather, right? And in this session we will study about the importance of water, that is water cycle. Then we will study more about water, right? So let's start with the process of condensation. So children, what is meant by condensation? Yes, when we boil water in a pan or in any vessel, and when we cover it with a lid, we find tiny droplets of water on the underside of the lid. So what is this actually? Why does this happen? Yes, these tiny drops of water have been formed because of the water vapor, which we also call as steam, and it has changed into water. So how does this changes into water? Yes, it changes into water by the process called as condensation, right? So children, always remember that when we boil the water and it converts into water vapor, and when this water vapor changes again into water, this process is called as condensation, right? So let's see one example of condensation. Yes, clouds are formed when water vapor condenses into tiny water droplets, right? So clouds are such an example of condensation because they are formed when water vapor condenses into tiny droplets of water, right? And then bigger water droplets in the cloud, when they are not able to stay in the clouds, then they fall as rain, right? We studied in the previous session about this, right? So bigger water droplets in the cloud fall as rain, right? And on the cold winter mornings, we see droplets of water on the grass and also on the leaves. So what are these droplets of water on the grass and on the leaves are called as? Yes, it is called as dew, right? As you can see in the picture. Okay, but this dew we are used to see only on the cold winter mornings. So always remember that whenever you see the tiny droplets of water on the grass or on the leaves on very cold winter mornings, it is actually dew, right? And these tiny droplets of water are also formed by the condensation of water vapor, right? So how these droplets are formed? Yes, they are formed by the process of condensation of water vapor. Alright, so you can see one more example, right? What is this example? What this example shows? Yes, when the water vapor condenses into drops of water or in the liquid state of water, it is called condensation. Here also the same thing is happening, right? So these are some examples of condensation which we saw. And now we are going to study about the famous popular water cycle, right? So what is actually water cycle? Yes, let's see. In nature, the processes of evaporation and condensation takes place continuously, right? So do you remember what is evaporation? Yes. The change of water into water vapor by the heat of sun is called evaporation. And what is condensation? Yes, the change of the state of water vapor or the steam into water is called condensation. So children, in the nature, the processes of evaporation and condensation, that means the change of water into water vapor and water vapor into water, takes place continuously, right? So what happens after that? Yes, water evaporates from lakes, rivers, oceans and other water bodies where their water is present, right? So wherever the water will be present, it will evaporate, and what will happen? They will change into water vapor, right? So water evaporates from the different water bodies and it converts into water vapor, right? And after that it condenses and falls as rain, snow, etc. And this forms the water cycle. So mainly water cycle forms by the process of evaporation and condensation. Okay? So children, have you got it? In this way the famous water cycle is formed, right? So always remember the two very important processes takes place to form the water cycle, and those are evaporation and condensation. So children, now we are going to study about the purification of water, right? So let's start with this. Children, we should always drink only clean water, right? Because unclean water can make us sick. So always remember that you should always drink clean water, otherwise you may fall sick. And water from taps can be dirty and impure, right? Thus water used for drinking and cooking purpose needs to be purified. You cannot use water, any kind of water that is dirty and impure for cooking purpose, right? You should always use clean water for drinking and cooking purpose, right? So you can see here, the water from the taps can be dirty and impure, and we should not use this tap water for drinking and for cooking, right? So we can purify the water in many ways. Let's see in how many ways we can purify water and we can use it for drinking and cooking. So children, the first and the most simple method to purify water is the boiling. So children, boiling is the simplest way to purify the water. After that, what happens when we boil the water? Yes, boiling water for at least 10 minutes kills the germs in it. So you have to just boil the water for at least 10 minutes, and if the quantity of water is much more, then don't worry, boil it for more time, right? That is at least for 20 to 30 minutes, right? So when you boil water, what happens? Boiling water kills the germs in it, and after that the boiled water should be stored in clean and covered pots or the bottles, right? You might have seen in your home that some of them use bottle, right? So what happens actually? The boiled water is stored in these bottles, and after that we can use this water for the drinking and the cooking purpose, right? So always remember that boiling is the very simplest way to purify water. And there are other methods also of purifying water, and that is sedimentation and decantation. What are those methods? Sedimentation and decantation. So children, let's study about these methods in detail. What is actually sedimentation and decantation? Yes, children, in this the water is allowed to stand in the big containers without being touched for a few hours. This is just an example in which we store the water which can be used for drinking and cooking purpose. But for sedimentation or decantation, what we use? Yes, the water is allowed to stand in big containers without being touched for few hours, like you can see in this picture. And after that, all the mud and the insoluble impurities will settle at the bottom of the container, as you can see here, right? There are some impurities, they settle at the bottom of the container after few hours, right? And this process in which insoluble impurities settle down at the bottom of the container is called sedimentation. What it is called as? Sedimentation. So children, let's revise. In sedimentation process, what we do? Yes, the water is first allowed to stand in big containers without being touched for few hours. And after some hours, what we see? Yes, some of the insoluble impurities settle down at the bottom. And the process in which the insoluble impurities settle down is called sedimentation. What it is called as? Sedimentation. In the same way, we can also say, then after that, the water is poured out very gently, without disturbing the settled impurities. So you can see here, right? This is the pipette, right? So what happens? Yes, water is poured out very gently and without disturbing the settled impurities. So the upper one, the upper layer of water is very pure and very clean, right? So we will pour out all the clean water from this surface, and the process in which the water is gently poured after sedimentation, it is called decantation. What it is called as? Decantation, right? But decanted water may still have a lot of impurities, right? So what we can do? Yes, the other method is filtration. Filtration is the better process than decantation to purify water, because in decantation process what happens? Decanted water may have lot of impurities, right? And we want the water which is free of impurities. So now we will study about the other method, that is filtration. So children, in this process, water is passed through a filter paper. As you can see here, we will place a filter paper over here, right? And water will be passed through a filter paper to the different vessel. Then the impurities are left behind on the filter paper and the clean water is collected below. And the process in which the water is cleaned by passing it through filter paper is called filtration. Yes? Okay. So children, the first method which we studied was boiling. We can use the method of boiling to purify water. Then we studied about sedimentation and decantation. They are also the methods to purify water, but they may still contain a lot of impurities. So the better method was filtration, right? So we studied about filtration, okay? So the process in which the water is cleaned by passing it through filter paper is called filtration. Alright children, have you got it? Okay. The next one is adding chlorine. So what is actually chlorine? Yes, chlorine is a gas that kills germs, and this is also one more method to purify the water. But how this chlorine gas will purify the water? Yes, adding chlorine tablets to water kills germs. Children, these days chlorine tablets are easily available, right? So we can add this chlorine tablets to water, which will kill germs, and it will make the water pure. And this process of adding chlorine tablets to water which kills germs is called chlorination. What it is called as? Chlorination. So you can see in the picture, this is the tablet, right? Chlorine tablet, and we add this chlorine tablet in the water, but after some time you can see that this chlorine tablet is no more in the water. Why? Because it has evaporated or it has dissolved, right? So this chlorine tablet gets dissolved in the water and it kills germs and it makes the water pure, and this process is called as chlorination. What it is called as? Chlorination, right? So now we will study about the tips to handle water. So what are the different tips to handle water? Yes, first of all, you should always keep in mind that do not waste water, because water is very precious, right? So always remember, while brushing your teeth, while bathing, while washing, cleaning or cooking, you should always remember that please do not let open the tap water. Always close it when it is not in use, right? So this way you can save the water. So always remember that do not waste water, because water is very precious for us. Then store the water in the clean place, okay, and in the clean pot or in the clean container, and keep the drinking water always covered, right? Otherwise the germs may attack it, okay? So always keep the drinking water covered. Then never keep drinking water near bins, that is dustbins and drains, right? So children, always remember, never keep the drinking water near bins and drains. And if you will drink that water which is kept near drains and bins, then what will happen? Yes, you may fall sick, right? So always remember that drinking water should never be kept near drains and bins or the dustbins. Okay, then always remember that clean the storage pots in which you are storing the water, and also clean the utensils regularly before filling them with water, right? So always remember to clean the storage pots and the utensils regularly before filling them with water. Then tap water should be boiled before using it for drinking purpose. Alright children, so always remember that tap water should be boiled, because tap water can be impure and dirty. So it should be always boiled before using it for drinking and cooking purposes. Then water storage tanks should be cleaned from time to time, right? Otherwise germs may attack it, and if we will use this storage tank water which is full of germs and impurities, then we may fall sick. Okay, so always remember that water storage tanks should be cleaned from time to time. So these were the some tips to handle the water, right? And now we will study about the uses of water. Children, as we studied before, just before a minute, that water is very precious for us, right? Water is very important for us and it is useful in many ways, right? So let's see that how water is useful to us. Yes, it is useful in many ways, like it is useful for washing clothes, then it is also useful for drinking, and you should always drink clean water. Then it is also useful for growing plants, because without water plants would not be able to grow. Then it is also used for bathing, then cooking. Always remember that you should always use clean water for cooking purpose. Otherwise you may fall sick if you are using tap water, because it can be dirty. Then it is also used for transport, right? You can see here that in ship we carry goods, right? In boats also we carry some small goods. So it is very useful for transport also, because without water the ship would not be able to move, right? So always remember that water is also useful for the transport, that is transportation. Then it is also useful for cleaning purposes, right? Cleaning windows, doors or cars, right, as you can see in the picture. Then it is also useful for swimming, because without water you would not be able to swim, right? So we saw some of the examples in which water is very useful for us, right? But water is also very important for other things also, right? So there are many important uses of water which are useful to us in many different ways, right? So children, I hope you enjoyed this session and studied about water, right, and the importance of water. So children, do not waste water, always save water. Okay, we will meet in the next session with the new lesson. Till then, keep learning, keep enjoying.